Alright guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ron, and behind me is my 2018 Subaru WRX. So for today's video, we'll be installing this OEM Footwell lighting kit. So Subaru has this kit available in either red or blue. I opted for the red one just so it matches that center console light, which is red. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do an unboxing. Alright, so here is the part number for anyone interested. So inside we got some adhesive, looks like adhesive padding with some zip ties and some nuts and screws. And then we have the cable that kind of ties it all together. I forgot to mention that this is a plug and play kit, so no splicing needed. The install should be fairly easy, you know, aside from removing all the panels and removing the head unit. And of course we have the actual LED lights and housings themselves. I think this side here with the bracket is for the driver's side, and then you got the passenger side over here. You want to start off by unplugging the battery from the car. So if you're unaware, this is the Odyssey PC680 battery paired with the Melee Design Firm battery mount. Let's go ahead and unattach this and we'll get started on the install. Alright, so after you unplug the battery, the first thing that you want to do is to go ahead and remove your glove box. You can do this by pushing it together and then taking out this little tab that's on the side over here. Just want to set this aside for now. Throughout the install, just ignore this wire. This wire is for my dash cam that I just rerouted through the glove box, so don't worry about that. So the next step is to remove this, so I'm on the driver's side now. So next step would be to remove this panel right here. It's a little hard to see, but it's this panel right here. And for that, we just want to get a screwdriver and remove this screw right here. Alright, so I switched up the angles a little bit to show you guys a little better, but I'm going to be using this auto trim removal kit to remove this panel right here. It's just under the starter, the ignition push start if you have the limited models. Alright, so I'm not going to lie, that was really hard to take off, but if you have one of these tools, you simply just go along the edges and pry it out. So the clips are faced kind of at an angle down. If you're pulling, I suggest pulling it this way and then pulling it up. So there you go. All right, so next up we want to take off this part right here. In order to do that, you're just gonna get your prying tool and go along the edges and pull. So that took a lot of force to take out. All right, so after you struggle with it and get it off, next thing you want to do is take these connections out to the hazard lights and this center button right here. Okay, there we go. So now that we got this piece off, we're ready to move on to the next step. Next step is to reroute the wire. We're gonna plug this in later after we get it all routed, but these are the ones that go to the actual LED, these ones that go on the bottom, and these ones are tapped into the hazard lights. So we'll do that later, but for now, let's go ahead and find the best way to route this. All right, so I'm gonna do my best to kind of show you exactly how I routed this. So again, it starts off from here, and then I routed it through down there, and fed it through this part right here. It's a little hard to see. And then it exits right here where you mount it to the bulb right here. And then on the other side, same thing. I routed it through the hole down there, and then it simply just comes out right there. All right, so I am on the driver's side, and I'm gonna go under here so you guys can see where it bolts up to. This is where you're gonna mount them to. So one right here, and then the second one is just right there where my index is, right there. You just simply mount the bracket on there, just like that. I taped the adhesive pad over the connection, and then I stuck it like right here. Hopefully this gives you guys a better view. So there's where I came from. Here's the steering wheel, and that was under like that. So it's an awkward angle, but you guys get the point. All right guys, so moving over to the passenger side, I'm gonna get this bulb. So this one doesn't have brackets, unfortunately. Where I'm gonna stick it on is right here, just right after the first set of hinges. So in the middle of these two right here. Just like that. And be sure to wipe this down with some alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, just so the 3M tape sticks on there. Guys, so I finally got it mounted in place, and what I did with the connection is the same thing as I did with the driver's side. I took the adhesive pad and put it over the connector, and I stuck it behind this panel right here. All right, so after we secured both driver's side and passenger side LED bulbs, the next thing we want to do is to go ahead and hook it up, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So I'm going to try to make this as least confusing as possible. So right when you pull the vents out, you unplug two connections, and that's the top one right here is for the hazard lights, and then the bottom one was for the selector where the enter button is on the front side of this. And what you do with the harness that came with the kit is you simply tap into the hazard light connection. So you take the hazard light connector and then you plug it into the harness that it came with, and then the other side of the harness goes back into this slot right here for the hazard light. The selector remains unchanged. We only unplugged this one to be able to access the back side of this. Other than that, it just stays the same. So that's what that means when you tap into the hazard light. All right, so I got the battery plugged in, and we're gonna go ahead and turn the lights on. There we go. So you can see that they're illuminated, and these actually switch on with the headlight itself. So, and you can control the brightness by doing this. Doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna get everything put back together, and I'm gonna show you guys some night shots of it. It looks pretty bright so far, so that's always a good thing. So yeah, let's get everything secured and put back, and let's finish up the install. All right, here's just a quick view from the back seat. And they're not actually that bright to where it's like exploding. This, I'm pretty sure it's just my camera setting. So, but yeah, it looks pretty sick from here. I like it. It matches everything else in the car. All right, guys, so we just finished the install. Overall, it was pretty easy. The wiring and the rerouting of the wires itself was pretty easy. I think honestly the hardest part was pulling off those vents, because it feels like you're gonna break it every time you you know, get a clip out. All right, guys, so I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the box below, or you can send me a message on Instagram at ronfromportland. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.